Alright, let's start with the obvious. Phil Collins is a legend. Genesis, solo career, the voice behind some of the most iconic music of the 80s. This guy's got a resume that could make any musician jealous. But here's the twist. The man who made us all dance to In the Air Tonight almost didn't make it out of a hospital bed last year. And when I heard about what his kids went through, it hit harder than a drum solo. Let me unpack this because, trust me, there's a lot more here than just another celebrity health scare. So, Collins' health went sideways after a knee surgery turned into a full-blown medical nightmare. His organs were shutting down. Doctors were asking, do we keep Phil on life support? Can you imagine being his kids, staring down that question? I mean, here's a guy who spent decades on stage, larger than life, and suddenly he's barely clinging to life because of alcohol and a body that gave out. What's fascinating to me is how this mirrors a darker side of fame we rarely talk about. These artists pour everything into their craft, and when the curtain falls, their bodies just stop working. It's like their whole identity was the only thing keeping them alive. Now, Collins admits he doesn't remember his kids coming to say goodbye. That detail? Chilling. He was unconscious, drowning in alcohol's aftereffects, while his family faced the unthinkable. But what stands out is how he describes the aftermath, specifically, his daughter Lily sobbing beside him, saying she never thought she'd get those moments back. Here's a guy who's been divorced 4 times, had a complicated relationship with his kids, and yet, this near-death experience becomes the catalyst for bonding. It's heartbreaking and beautiful at the same time. It makes me wonder, how often do we wait for a crisis to mend fences we've ignored for years? Collins' story isn't just about his health, it's a masterclass in human fragility. And then there's the elephant in the room, alcohol. Collins says he hasn't had a drink since. Let's be real, this isn't some sudden revelation. The guy's battled addiction for decades. But the fact that it took a 7-month hospital stay and a near-death call for his kids to say goodbye? That's the kind of wake-up call most people never get. What's tragic here is the irony. A man who wrote In the Air Tonight, a song dripping with existential dread, lived it in real life. I can't help but think about how many artists use substances to cope with the chaos of fame, only to realize too late the cost. Collins got lucky. Others aren't so fortunate. But here's where it gets really interesting. Collins' physical decline isn't just about alcohol. He's dealing with diabetes, a spinal injury that stole his ability to drum, and a body that's basically mutinied. And his reaction? I'm not hungry for music anymore. Wait, this is the guy who once said, if I left the music, I'd have nothing. Now he's admitting the fire's gone out. That's not just a health crisis, it's an identity crisis. How do you redefine yourself when the thing that made you iconic is gone? For Collins, it's not just about surviving, it's about figuring out what living even means now. So where does this leave us? Collins is retired, surrounded by family, and, fingers crossed, sober. But his story feels like a cautionary tale wrapped in a redemption arc. It's a reminder that even legends are just humans, crumbling under the weight of their own legacy. And maybe that's the point. We idolize these artists, but their struggles are painfully universal: mortality, regret, the desperate need to connect. Collins' journey isn't just his own, it's a reflection of how we all grapple with time, choices, and the people we love. So, what do you think? Is this the kind of second act we need more of in the music world, artists stepping back to reclaim their humanity? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories behind the music.